I was born in upstate New York, and when I was born, my mother died in childbirth a few days later, complications, as they say. So for a while I lived with a relative, and then I was in an orphanage, a Catholic orphanage, until my father had recovered his health and his own 2 feet, until he had stopped, recoiling from the disasters that had befallen him. He collected his children from the various places to which they'd been parceled out, and I came back into a happy family home with a new stepmother who raised me and is now, heading for 92. It was the happy 2-parent, large family life that one would expect from an Irish Catholic family being organized in mid-century. But behind all the normal happiness and confusion and joy of having 6 brothers and sisters and a mother and a father, there was always underneath a recollection that something startling that I could never remember had precipitated my life, had jettisoned me into the world. I could never escape from its influence, even as I could never really experience what it was that had happened to me. I had a very happy childhood, though we weren't particularly prosperous. But my parents sent us off to the library, and there I found my favorite reading material, the Grimm fairy tales. One of the things I now realize that I liked about them so much is that in the Grimm fairy tales, there's almost always a mother who dies in the first paragraph, and the child who is left behind has to fend for himself or herself and make his or her way through the wild wood to the establishment of the castle and the inevitable marriage to the king's daughter or king's son, whoever it is who's waiting for you there. I think I read those stories in childhood with a great deal of obscure delight. But as I got older, in the same way that we go back to music from our teenage years because it makes us feel comfortable, I found I was going back to the fairy tales even when I was a teenager. I would sometimes read them for comfort because I liked the tropes, I liked the incidents. I admired the characters for their strength and virility and vitality. Now, I'm in my mid-50s, and partly as an homage to my mother who died giving birth to me, but also as an homage to my stepmother who raised me up, taught me to read, sent me to that library, admired the act of writing, and instructed me in the art of speaking. For all those reasons, I have adopted 3 children of my own, and I am trying to bequeath to them what was bequeathed to me. In a larger sense, in my stories, in my novels, for adults and also for children, I'm always talking about how it is the act of the entire society to provide a net and a nest and a basket and a pride for any abandoned child. Sometimes it's still the abandoned child who is inside one.